Well, Trump just shocked the world over Gaza. Was it a bold move or is it totally insane? Some are calling it the Nakba 2.0. Friend of the show, George Galloway, who hosts the Moats show, just called it Trump's Nakba. Is that too harsh? We'll discuss, just for some context here, the original Nakba happened in 1948 when Israelis killed, displaced hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. Britain, of course, the United Nations worked hand in glove to basically come up with the plan. I'm simplifying it, of course, but the Arabs rejected it. But the United Nations and Britain said, yeah, this is what we're going to do. So they went along with it and did it. But it didn't matter. They were ethnically cleansed. They were removed from their lands. So are we facing now a repeat of that? Has it already happened? What comes next? Is President Trump's quote, here it is, by the way, that just sent shockwaves through the world. The fallout has been fast and furious. Everyone trying to parse out what the president meant when he said this yesterday about Gaza. Listen.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the...
So that's some serious stepping up to the job that we're seeing here from Donald. So this is what we need. We need reconstruction. We need brokers of peace, and that's what you realize that Israel has failed to do. The West has failed to do. The Democrats, this is non-partisan, but the Democrats, the British have failed to do. It's like they're addicted to horrors, bro. Iran, Afghanistan, they just want the bombs to be going off. So this is some good development.
Site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply.
You're smiling. You better smile.
Numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area.
Where exactly are you suggesting that they should go? And two, are you saying they should return after it's rebuilt? And if not, who do you envision living there?
Well, the people that are from there, let them go back. I think if you've been in a place for more than 30, 50 years, it's your place, you know. And if you can work out a peace agreement, just work it out. You don't have to keep on bombing each other.
In the world, people living there, the world's people, I think you'll make that into an international, unbelievable place. I think the potential in the Gaza Strip is unbelievable. And I think the entire world, representatives from all over the world will be there, and they'll live there. Palestinians also. Palestinians will live there. Many people will live there.
So he said that, but then a little, separately, Peter Doocy asked specifically about the Palestinians from Fox News. He asked this question, and Trump kind of gave a totally different answer, I guess. Listen.
Peter?
Would Palestinians have the right to return to Gaza if they left?
Why is this guy smiling?
It would be my hope that we
this
could
isn't
do
funny.
Something really nice, really good, where they wouldn't want to return. Why would they want to return? The place has been hell. It's been one of the meanest,
He's still smiling.
Toughest places.
This is funny, but why is he smiling?
And Netanyahu is sitting there saying, yes, it's mean and tough. We are mean and tough on them.
Mean and tough. All right. According to sources I've spoken with in Tel Aviv, Israeli reaction, they were shocked by this. They didn't see this coming.
They have to
They didn't see this coming at all. And according to Real Clear Politics, Trump's own staff didn't see this coming.
Snakes in the
Ryan
grass,
Grimm
bro.
is the co-founder of the independent media website Dropsite News, co-host of Counterpoints on YouTube, and Ryan joins us now for some perspective on all of this. Ryan, I know you've been covering this deeply. You've had like 24 hours to kind of digest this. It seems like the Trump White House was kind of caught blindsided by this.
Which is funny because Trump himself said, this is not a decision that I have taken lightly. This is
he's a leader. He needs to take the hard decisions. There's too many bureaucrats, too many involved parties in this. That is why solutions have never come to fruition. Okay, and finally, it appears that someone wants to step up to the plate, right? So, finally, guess how you're going to deal with.
Whatever those serious deliberations were, they apparently did not include senior administration officials.
They don't have to know.
As you just pointed out, by the look of his face, Benjamin Netanyahu, it doesn't appear like that even came up in the meeting between the two of them. Since then, Rubio has made some interesting kind of cleanup comments, and I think we'll probably see, for as long as Rubio is serving as Secretary of State, this will be one of the roles that he plays. The way that Rubio tried to reframe what Trump said, he said it was not meant in a hostile manner. It was meant in a generous manner. And actually, as I was rewatching it just now, you can always tell when Trump moves from what he's reading or the teleprompter to his own language.
Right.
What was written down clearly was, we will take. When Trump moves from what he's reading or the teleprompter to his own language.
Right.
What was written down clearly was, we will take over Gaza. And then he added, and we will own it and it will be amazing, something like that. And then he goes back to reading again and he says, we will, oversee the reconstruction. And so if you try to piece together what was written and match it with what Rubio was saying, what Rubio said, it was a offer made out of generosity, not hostility, that the U.S. is willing to do a lot of the reconstruction work and there are.
So that's where all the money from U.S. aid and from Ukraine, that's where the money should have been going. Reconstruction. Not making more bombs, not sending more bombs, not equipping drones with more bombs. Yeah.
Enormous, untold numbers of unexploded ordnance, throughout Gaza. That's a fact. That does need to be dealt with. So what he's saying is, we will do that. We will do that demolition work, and we will do the reconstruction work. And Rubio even implied, and even said out, that they'd be coming back.
The unexploded.
Yeah, who dropped?
Yeah.
That's a good question. So Trump was there with Netanyahu. He could have asked Netanyahu if he had any idea, where, how this became a demolition site, or where all of this ordnance came from.
Basically, he called it a hellhole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a natural disaster. In just an unfortunate circumstance which is the way that he was talking about. And to hear him talk about it with Netanyahu.
His name is Ryan Grimm. Oh man, grim, very grim situation.
Sitting right there was a little extra deranged. But so to take Trump seriously, the problem with his suggestion there is that it's not completely uninhabitable. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians can return to their homes, and their homes are not destroyed. There are also other places within Gaza that people could go. They could also go to the West Bank. They could go to the Negev Desert. To your point, who did this destruction? Israel did this destruction. Therefore, why are they asking Egypt and Jordan? And he's mentioned maybe there'll be some other places that'll handle this. If people need to be moved while there's reconstruction, it's Israel's responsibility to house them somewhere. And then they're going to have a right of return to Gaza because Israel doesn't want them there.
So many things to unpack here because Hamas, right? This is at the heart of it, right? So Hamas, according to sources I've spoken with, is largely still intact, functioning. So is the United States now going to be a police force there to go and try to stop Hamas? This is why so many MAGA supporters and so many Trump supporters, I see them in our chat right now saying, I don't want us in the Middle East at all. Get out of the Middle East.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't sign up for this. So are American forces now going to be involved in trying to root out Hamas?
One of Trump's attractive qualities to a lot of MAGA supporters was his willingness to call out the Republican establishment for its adventurism in the Middle East, specifically the Iraq War. To then come full circle and say, we're going to go back in, which he was asked directly, does this mean U.S. boots on the ground? And Trump said, if that's what it means, then yes. To Rubio today said, no, of course not. We're not doing that. So, you make of it what you will, but he's still the president. He still said it, but you're right.
Right.
If he's trying to get 1.7 million people out who don't want to leave because they're being told they're not going to be allowed back in, then you have to take them out violently. And that means troops, and that means casualties.
I've tried to come around this, to envision this utopia that he has. Maybe for anyone who's ever been to Dubai or Sharm el-Sheikh, and you see these cities that are being built up as international places of travel and commerce, and they're beautiful, and people who live in those countries are really proud of those places. So there is maybe this idea, because it's beachfront property, that it could be this beautiful tourism mecca that is redone and controlled by the United States and then handed off. It's really hard. It's hard, right? Because you know that the two-state solution is going to be fought in a bloody way in perpetuity. And there's this like utopia that seems so unlikely. And so most of us just don't know what to do with those two conflicting visions. Plus the idea that if Trump or one of his successors is not a Republican, the Democrats would just give it up and go back to fighting. So I think that's what I'm chewing on. Are you also digesting something like that?
You're right. Interestingly, like there is a path. Like Hamas has said that it is willing to be just a basically rebranded element of a technocratic government, and it'd be willing. There are indications that under the right circumstances they'd be willing to disarm and engage in the political process. And then if you have Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, funding the redevelopment of Gaza, and you have, the Palestinians would love nothing more than to have, serious reconstruction funded in a peaceful way and in a way that allows them to benefit as well as everyone else in the world. Go ahead, come visit Gaza, that just like you visit Doha or Dubai. But you're right. The obstacle there is Israel. Israel doesn't want to see that. Israel is currently not allowing in basic humanitarian aid, let alone like even bulldozers or the kinds of things that you would need to begin taking steps in that direction. So that is an impasse that Trump would have to use political capital to get through. And then, exactly what happens when somebody else comes.
Great. Let me just follow up on this, because you speak about humanitarian aid, and then in the same day, the White House announces that it will no longer participate with certain United Nations organizations such as UNRWA, which is the main organization that has funneled aid into there. And Israel says they helped plan and execute October 7th, so they're our main enemy. Yeah. And so Trump then does something exactly what they would want. And so do you think that that's possibly something he gave Israel in order to work this deal or something?
He's it's interesting. He's constantly giving Israel things. In the same press conference, he said that within 4 weeks, he's going to decide whether or not he's going to allow Israel to annex the West Bank, which is, and the whole thing is, these are wild, just constructions.
This is a part of, what do they say? A storm bringing a cup, something like that. This is crazy. Peace out. Stay safe.